What is up, guys? The new Bonnie here, and I have just one quick announcement before the video begins. So school is out for me right now, or as of today, for Christmas vacation, so I should be able to post a lot more videos over this vacation for a little bit so you guys can see more of what I'm up to. And today we're going to be doing a deck profile of my Blue Eyes White Dragon deck. And also I want to tell you guys that we are going to be doing a special Christmas giveaway. So around the time that Christmas pops up, we're going to be doing another giveaway for that. So without further ado, let's get started with this deck profile. Alrighty guys, so as usual, we're going to start with the monsters. Of course, we play 3 copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon. We got those guys in there. I run 3 Keeper of the Shrines, simply because it has a very high defense, he has a cool graveyard effect, and also for the simple fact that he's able to tribute, he counts as 2 tributes for a dragon. So if I'm going to tribute summon, all I need is just one of these guys, and with that high defense, he's kind of hard to get rid of right away, and then we can easily get our Blue Eyes White Dragon out on the next turn. On top of that, we run 2 copies of the White Stone of Legend just to make special summoning our Blue Eyes White Dragons a little bit easier. We only have 1 copy of Maiden with Eyes of Blue. I wish I had more, but unfortunately I do not. But we are running her at 1, which works very smoothly with this deck. And with the White Stone of Legend specifically, I'll also show you guys the spell card I have that goes with that here in a minute. We run 1 copy of Seed Dragoons of Draconia. I believe this is still limited to 1. But anytime a monster is destroyed by battle, no matter where it is on the field, as long as a monster gets destroyed, I can special summon a normal monster from my hand. So as long as something gets destroyed by battle, I'm able to get Blue Eyes out on the field, as long as this guy's in my Pendulum Zone. After that, we have 1 copy of Kidmodo Dragon. He's got a really good effect. If he's sent to the graveyard, I'm able to special summon a Dragon-type monster from my hand. And I can't special summon monsters except dragons, nor conduct my battle phase the turn I activate this. But again, special summoning my dragons, I do have a lot of dragons in this deck. This doesn't limit me to just my Blue Eyes. He's really good for that. We run 1 copy of White Knight Dragon. When a spell or trap card is activated that targets this card and is activated, I can negate the activation and destroy it. And when another face-up monster that I control is targeted for an attack, I can send a spell and trap card or a trap card to my graveyard to change the attack to this card. So, if anything else is going to get targeted with an attack, I can send one of my spells and traps, get this guy to be attacked instead, since he's not as valuable as the others. We run 1 King of the Swamp, and you'll see with our extra deck why we run that. This one, I kind of want your guys' opinion on, because I just put him in here, but we have Divine Dragon Lord Felgrind. So, when he is special summoned from the graveyard, which is a lot of what this deck does, I can target my opponent's monster, banish it, either from their graveyard or from their field, and he gains attack and defense, I believe. Yeah, attack and defense equal to that banished monster's level, times 100. Also, if this guy destroys an opponent's monster, I can target a level 7 or 8 Dragon-type monster in my graveyard and special summon it. So I'm able to keep doing that, but as long as I destroy something by battle, which keeps getting me my Blue Eyes, I can't speak. But if I wasn't running him, it would be Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. So I don't know what your guys' opinion is on that. Let me know which one you think I should run, comment down below. Moving on from there, we have 1 Lady of D, so that our Dragon-type monsters cannot be targeted for attacks, right? Yep, your opponent cannot target your dragons for attacks. Plus she's rank 4, which is good for our XZ's plays. This one I might have to throw out, but we have Deep Eyes White Dragon, just because we want a little extra Blue Eyes power and he's able to wipe the field clean. And then one of my personal favorites, Decoy Dragon. If he is targeted for an attack, and this is very helpful for getting Lord Felgrind or any of my Blue Eyes dragons back. If he's targeted for an attack, I can just pull a level 7 or higher Dragon-type monster out of my graveyard, special summon it, and the attack target changes to that. That is a freaking awesome effect. And so I can also special summon it in defense position, So no matter what, I'm not going to have to take damage, and my opponent's probably going to lose a monster. Now, that does it for the monsters, except we also have 3 ritual monsters running in this deck. So we have 1 copy of Blackluster Soldier Super Soldier, just because he's a better Blackluster. 1 copy of the Super OG Blackluster Soldier. And then we have 1 Soravis the Ancient and Ascended. I think I've seen this card anywhere, actually. I've never seen a deck profile with this guy in it. I don't have the spell card that summons him, but that's okay. We don't need that. We just need his discard effects. So it says, you can discard this card, negate the activation, and that means of an effect that during either player's turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a monster you control, you can discard this card and negate the activation. So I can negate any spell, trap, or monster effect with that guy, and that's all he's really good for, is just 1 good throwaway. Alright, let's move into the spells then. So right off the bat, I run 3 copies of Fusion Substitute. This deck relies a lot on Fusion Summoning, although it's kind of just a deck to play around and have fun with. It's nothing too terribly serious, but this is an amazing deck that wins me most games. So, another thing I have, it's a little heavy, but 3 copies of MST, just because I want to keep destroying spells and traps, because it can get a little hard to summon everything that I want, which is surprising seeing how much goes into special summoning in this deck, and I'm going to keep showing you guys that with Dragon Shrine. This is what the White Stone of Legend goes with, is you can send a dragon type monster from your deck to the graveyard, then if that monster in your graveyard is a dragon normal type, you can send 1 more dragon type, which means that I'm able to, if I have a Blue Eyes in my hand, or if I want to add a Blue Eyes to my hand, I can easily just discard a Blue Eyes, then discard this guy right after that. He's in the graveyard. Boom, I can add a Blue Eyes to my hand, and that's why I run 2 of them. Also, because if I want to, I can send Lord Felgrin to the graveyard, and he's good to have there because I can easily special summon him. Some more things we have are Swords of Revealing Light. We have a lot of high-level monsters, so it's a little bit more difficult to get them out and keep them out on the field because your opponent can attack very easily if your field is open. So we have a total of 6 turns here that your opponent can't attack, and it's just kind of a really good middle finger to your opponent. Now, for summoning our Blackluster Soldiers, I have a Super Soldier Synthesis, as well as a Super Soldier Ritual, because this guy lets me get it from the graveyard, and this guy is just better because if I want something from the graveyard, all I gotta do is banish some stuff. Moving on, we have 1 copy of Trade-In, just for a little extra draw power. 1 Burst Stream of Destruction. If we have a Blue Eyes on the field, I can get rid of everything else my opponent controls. We have 1 Silver's Cry. Again, just a good way to special summon a single Blue Eyes White Dragon from my grave. Works out pretty well because I usually end up sending them there, and I can get all 3 on the 2nd turn pretty easily. Magical Stone Excavation, just because if I want any of these spells back, even though I run a shitload of spells in here. We have 1 Hand Destruction. Maybe you don't like 2 cards that you have and you can pitch them and grab 2 new ones. Really helpful in that scenario. We have 1 Fusion Recycling Plant, and this is a pretty epic field spell card, so it lets me, once per turn, I'm able to discard a card and add a polymerization from my deck to from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So it's like a much better Fusion Sage. And once per turn during the end phase, I can target 1 monster in my graveyard that was used as a fusion material and add it to my hand. So I'm able to get my Blue Eyes back or whatever else. I can add my Blackluster Soldiers back. It's just a great field spell overall. Supply Squad is 1 I might throw out. If stuff gets destroyed, I'm able to draw. I just need that extra draw power in this. Beacon of White lets me equip it to another Blue Eyes, and then I can attack for however many Blue Eyes monsters I have in my graveyard. So, problem is I'm only going to have an extra 2, but that does mean I'm going to be able to attack 3 times, dealing 9,000 direct, so that's pretty sweet. And then we have 1 copy of Majesty with Eyes of Blue, because this lets me send a Blue Eyes monster from my deck to my grave, and then I can target one of my opponent's monsters and just not allow it to attack for as long as it's on the field. So finally, we have our trap cards. I run 3 copies of Call of the Haunted. If something's going to the graveyard, I can promise you I'm going to get it back. There is no problem there. I will have it back. 1 copy of Sekaretsu Armor. Opponent's going to keep on attacking. If he gets frustrated enough, I'm just going to banish his shit. We have 1 copy of Jar of Avarice. Eventually I'm going to have just a lot of monsters in my grave, and it's going to get a little harder to keep getting them back. And also, with all of the draw power, you'd be surprised at how quickly my deck runs low. So it's good to just put them right back into the deck so I can keep drawing, and I'm not going to draw out. So, we also have 1 Divine Wrath. This way I can negate monster effects. 1 Kunai with Chain, just because I can change the attack target to defense position, and I'm also allowed to target a monster I control and give it an extra 500 attack. And for our final trap card, we have Grisaille Prison. I don't think I've seen anyone run this before, but it's funny what it lists. If you control a face-up monster that was Tribute, Ritual, or Fusion Summon, which is everything in this deck, until the end of your opponent's next turn, neither player can Synchro or Xyz summon. Synchro and Xyz monsters cannot attack and their effects are negated. So this is just really good for me because I do a lot of Fusion, Ritual, and Tribute summoning in this deck. So I'm able to stop my opponent from Synchro or Xyz summoning because those are pretty deep in the meta right now. And for our final little bit, I'm going to go over what we have in the extra deck. So we have 1 copy of Dragon Master Knight. This is my little bent out of shape copy, poor guy. But we run 1 Dragon Master Knight. He's the beefy guy behind this entire deck. We have 1 copy of Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon. He is able to banish an attacking, or banish a monster that wasn't destroyed. So if I'm gonna attack you, I'm gonna get rid of your monster. We run 1 copy of Blue Eyes Ultimate and 1 copy of Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate, just for another Blue Eyes Ultimate that actually has an effect. Still like the older one better though, but that's just my opinion. For our Xyz monsters, we have 1 Queen Dragoon Jin, and she is able to make it to where my dragons cannot get attacked. Super helpful, love her. We have 1 Galaxy Stealth Dragon, because this guy enables me to special summon more dragons. Everything here is about special summoning dragons. And finally, just as a guide, I think he's just kind of a filler, but we have 1 copy of Azure Eyes Silver Dragon. So you guys, that is going to do it for my Blue Eyes deck profile. I do hope you enjoyed. If you have any suggestions on how to make the deck better, please let me know down in the comment section below. I'd be happy to see what you guys are running, and I will see you guys in the next one.